done in the department is that alcohol and drug-related mental disorders are ranking first wherever we do our statistics.
Most of the inpatients
Yes,
you have
the
here
inpatients
have a
we
history of drug abuse.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is around 15% of inpatients, they are all brought with this problem related to alcohol and drug abuse.
Okay.
And it is affecting more the youth. And as we well know, our viewers, the youth are the backbone of the economy of Uganda. Now, if it is killing all those youth, I don't know the future of Uganda.
80% of the population is below 35.
Yeah. So the drugs which are common in the Fort Portal City and Kabarole districts, district, are mainly these local drugs we have in our community. For example, alcohol. Alcohol here is really used with, by many people.
That has taken some time.
And you remember one time we ranked high here.
Yeah.
In Uganda, we are really overweighing all the places. Observation is that Kasese brings Warajini tippers. Here, it enters Fort Portal town.
Enters Fort Portal town.
Yes. Then this side of Kagadi, they also bring us alcohol from Vitok and other things. They also come to here, plus our local brew here. So here we have high market for this, and we are consuming a lot of it.
What's constituting the market?
I don't know. Maybe this is a center. It is Fort Portal is a city now, and I think it has already market for these things.
Ravelas are so many in town.
When I try to look at marijuana, marijuana initially was a herb here. It was being used for treating of anthrax and coccidiosis. That's what the natives of the place were
The Gen Z call it weed.
Yeah, so they were treating some of those diseases, but now it has turned to human beings. Yes, and I came to realize the source. It is within us. These people around those foot of the mountains, they grow it. It is there. And when we look later, maybe when we come to law, or maybe on the causes which we think are the factors contributing to this much use of these drugs, we shall see maybe something on the law, because these drugs are there and we are not really addressing them. Cat, which is Mairungi
of Kijura.
There is one time I presented, they called me at the district, and I was trying to give some information about Mairungi. And I thought people appreciated that. But later on, somebody comes and convinces them that Mairungi is something which it is a business kind of. And they were convincing the district even to, as if to gazette, they were suggesting to gazette other places to grow Mairungi on top of Kijura.
For medical purposes?
Me and Father Kavura, we proposed that. We said the moment you do that, that will be disaster. Because even the one place we have in Kijura is already affecting the entire western region, even across borders. So I want to clear this from our viewers, because they were saying Mairungi is not harmful. Mairungi is harmful, but I can equate Mairungi the way you would start drinking alcohol and you start with tonto. Yes? You see, when we start with tonto, at first it gives you the desire you want.
Yes.
But with time, you develop tolerance, you tolerate the alcohol, and you start taking in bigger doses, and you don't get the effect you want.
Okay.
You end up into harder drugs. So those people who are saying Mairungi is not harmful, Mairungi is equally harmful, because people start with Mairungi, later on they start the other harder drugs, and you find many of our patients are multiple drug abuse.
But you've placed Mairungi at a level of tonto.
Yeah, we are saying, see, what I'm trying to fight or to let community not mistake Mairungi to be non-harmful.
Non-harmful.
Because that's why we have been swallowing or chewing our Mairungi and there's no problem. Mairungi has it has an effect on the brain, and those who use it, they will bear me witness. The moment they take it, there is a way to works, and they think it is reactivating their brain to think and what.
And overtalk, narrate stories.
But with the time, they will start using other harder drugs. Yeah.
But it has effects on other body systems like the
it has started bringing cancer. People are now, it is out of studies, especially cancer of the esophagus and the oral cavity. Because when we are chewing those drugs, these boys are very smart also. When we started health educating about cancer brought by cat, they started using it, they chew it with Big G.
Oh, yeah.
Because we told them the particles they swallow, they are the sources of the disturbance of the gut. So now they have started using, they chew it together with the big EG, such that the particle element is remained stuck in the, but that alone does not help them still, because still they are swallowing this substance.
Which other common drugs are there apart from cat, alka, and marijuana?
There are many drugs. When we look at class A drugs, like for us health workers, we tend to incline to use some of these class A drugs, like pethidine, morphine, codeine. Yeah?
How common are they in public there?
Here it's not so much common. You see, these drugs of class A are restricted drugs. But like me myself, I wonder how they end up on streets. Because at least I've seen brown, they call it brown sugar.
Yeah.
But it is heroin, raw heroin in ash form. It is a very, in fact for them they call it kill me quick. They just get a ash of it, put it on a piece of paper, and it is inflammable. So they light and they inhale, and indeed you see somebody falling apart.
Within a minute,
Within a minute. But even these injectables, the pethidine and whatever, they are being sold. We don't know how. They come on, yes. Like that. But they are not so common.
So what is the clarity in terms of the numbers, Senior?
Clarity in terms of numbers.
The numbers of drug abuse. What are the statistics?
Now, if we have to take drug statistics, let me see. I can't specifically give because what I'm clear with is it constitutes the biggest percentage of our inpatients.
You said 15%.
15% of inpatients are all admitted because of using drugs. That one is clear record. But if I come with clear figures...
But that's also a big number.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Out of 115 of that history.
Because others have less than 2%. But if you have 15...
That's a big number.
And when you talk of 15%, mind you, these are the ones who have broken down at the approachment. But majority...
Very many are there. They've not sort of come in.
They even brag around, for me, I've used marijuana for 10 years. Those people who talk of mental health problem, why am I not sick? So they forget
you can't be sick and know you're sick.
They don't know that the way Martin Oibanda reacts on these drugs is not the way the other person reacts. May I just take a little, or you may end up in mental illness. The other one takes it and is not getting
Senior, could you help us to know the causes, why people are much more into this thing of abusing drugs, especially in town here? When
we look at Kabarole and Fort Portal town, one of the factors we have seen is availability. I've told you already that these drugs are available.
Two of them.
Availability. They are there. They are accessible. So people are getting it in easy, or they have them at easy reach. Then there is the peer group influence, especially the youth. You see, youth have that tendency of curiosity. They want to discover things. So they end up, when they see somebody posing and is,
the burning desire to know.
So peer group influence is also one of the common causes when you share with our people. Then the lack of information about the effect of these drugs. We still have a knowledge gap between people, community understanding the effect of these drugs on human beings. So that knowledge gap is also one of them. There is also, let us look at Kabarole culture. The time I've been here, a party without alcohol is not a party. Culture, I don't know whether presenters are getting this. If you call people to attend a party,
and you don't include alcohol,
they will say, is alcohol there? So we have taken as if alcohol is a commonly usual beverage, but not looking at its effects.
Just looking at
so that one is also culture. There are some cultures, like me, who come from the Eastern, especially that side of ours. There's that culture of Ajon or whatever. It's like if you are not, if you don't use it, then you are not a man. So
can you imagine?
Yes, people grow up to be a man. You must drink. Even here, I've been incited. Me, later on, I'll share with you my experience. Why?
Of course, you don't.
When I were discussing the cow, what happened to me? Then I healed somewhere. So
there is that societal pressure. If you're not taking, you're not a man.
In the society, it is part of the organizations. Without that, people don't ask for meat and rice. Instead, is there alcohol
first?
So as if it is something which is this is by maybe if you take in terms of
some
culture
bit of
society.
complacence,
But we also have this, I can call it social strife, poverty.
Poverty,
Yeah. when I share with my clients, at times they say bitekerezo, poverty, and the bitekerezo is unemployment, these domestic violence, those things, and community, somebody losses. So for them, they think, or they have been telling me that when they take these drugs, they get some kind of relief
from
and they sleep,
the pressures.
And indeed, they forget about the problem.
Does that really happen?
But I want to share this with the community. Let us understand this clearly. These drugs, when you take them on small quantity or in small quantity, they work as if they are elevators. So they may make you happy and yet you have problems. But I've told you, and I will keep telling you when we come on the addiction curve, that with the time the body gets used and you want to add the dose. So you will not
become part of your life now.
So you start minus it, you can't go. It's like a vehicle with fuel. So with the time when you put it much, it starts affecting. It becomes a depressant. It just suppresses your body, processes, including the mental activities. Yes. For example, if I was sharing with one of my, he woke up, he drank last night, overdrank, and he wakes up. Is my vehicle in the garage? But when I asked him who drove the vehicle, he said, I remember I'm the one who drove the vehicle when I'm going to drink. But I don't remember how I came back. But when I checked the vehicle was there, parked and intact. And so if we are to ask ourselves, what do you think, who was driving the vehicle, if the owner doesn't remember that he was driving the vehicle?
Can you imagine?
And unfortunately, the peers who drink with such a person, they keep giving him more praise.
More praise that you
guy,
can do
even if he's drunk, just lift him and put him on the steering to drive you.
Not forgetting he's taking a risk.
Now, if the owner, if the person who drove you doesn't know how he drove, whom do you think was driving you, such that you praise him, that even if that man is drunk, you reach safely? Don't you think it's alcohol which was driving you? And indeed, one time you will end up into a crash.
And that's a big risk.
It is a very big risk.
But senior, as you talk about the causes, there are terms that have confused the public so much. When you look at an addict and a drug abuser, what's the difference between the two?
I wanted to describe those stages on the curve.
It's okay. First,
they're on the curve.
First, get there.
There are things like socioeconomic factors. There are also many. Those who have money, they use beers. There's the soft ones, or those purified ones.
But there is also that complaint that comes in that I only take beer. Me, I don't take those hard things. You know.
But let me tell you, you see, somebody, when you have your finance, money, you really go for beers because you have the capacity to buy the beers.
Yes.
But circumstance may dictate, and that money dwindles. With the time, you don't have enough money. That's where people end up in alcohol, crude ones. You resort to the cheaper,
the spirits,
like a crude one.
Of 2,000.
Yes, 2,000. So that's how it goes on.
But what's the difference? Because if a person takes karang of 3,000 and another one takes a beer of 4,000, but they take 4 bottles, the chief ingredient in both is ethanol. What's the difference?
Now here, those who drink or who use alcohol, all those brands have concentration on the bottle. Yes. What I want the community to understand, that the more you come out of those brewers or those brands and you start coming to crude, the more you go to a dangerous kind, because these alcohol which are crude, that one, it has the highest concentration. In fact, somebody when takes a half a liter of Bell, and for you risk to take a half a liter of crude water, you may, that is too much, because when you look at, let us say, maybe if we are to look at those purified, let us say
Bond 7. I used to take Bond 7.
Bell is the weakest, I think.
Bell is the weakest.
And then bring your band water.
40%.
42%.
Yeah,
there.
FBC.
So even if the quantity is small, the concentration is high. Yes, this is where people go wrong, and somebody says, what is important? What is that? The quantity of alcohol you are taking per a seat, that is important. Because somebody who is taking
regardless of whether
even 5 bottles, and this one who is taking a half a bottle of Uganda Warrage is even still higher in concentration and is being affected more than the other one. But when we come to the curve, I will tell you this is a limit for social use, this is hazardous, this is addiction, and whatever we are talking about now.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe something also the causes I wanted the community to understand is the genetic predisposition.
Okay.
We have observed, all science tells us that alcohol and drug abuse also tend to run along family lines. In fact, if you look in community, so for this, we are seeing a weakness within our body makeup, especially in the neurotransmitters. That if you come from a family where both parents are rujuju, they are drunkards.
Rujuju.
For you to be safe,
How did you learn that term?
No, but I've been here. My clients are teaching me this language.
It's a common term and a good
So
way to
you will see that if for you to be safe, you better not start even the journey of drinking.
You better not even look at it.
Yes, don't even start.
Because
the moment you start, you are vulnerable. Already your body is just waiting for it. There is a very complex chemistry in it, alcohol combined with some neurotransmitters within itself, which brings permanent craving.
The dopamine.
Tomorrow you come here when you are drunk, we are going to chase you from work.
And you still come.
And indeed you will come and you'll be chased. Because the craving can't even allow you. It is the one governing you. So, genetic predisposition, I want us people to take it serious. Once you see that you have these people who drink a lot in your family, the best is not even to try. Because the moment you try.
Does the genetic predisposition work also on intoxication? That one can be genetically predisposed to getting intoxicated easier than another one, given the same amount of the drug?
Not exactly say that, but you will see you are all equally, whether you are predisposed or not predisposed, you will go through the curve we are going to discuss.
Intoxicated.
The curve, you'll go depending on what you're taking and how your body reacts on it.
Okay.
You may also enter there. And what else did I want to talk to?
I think you have exhausted the causes. Senior, could we delve into the curve? You let us know.
Before the curve, let us look at who are these people we should address. Because if we are to help community to come out or to try to do some impact on this drug abuse, the first is to know who are those people who are vulnerable to develop.
The vulnerable groups.
Vulnerable groups.
Who are those?
We have realized that the people who are vulnerable are the youth. And when you marry it with unemployment, idleness, and peer group influences, the youth are so vulnerable. But what surprises us that whenever you read books about drug abuse and those who are vulnerable, the first group are the health workers. This surprises me. And yet I would think the health workers would be in a position to help the community.
To help the community.
But they are the first
to getting issues with these drugs.
So who is going to help community?
It's not seen. It's not seen.
Now,
Where do they hide? Where do the workers hide?
If you are saying they are not seen, I want you to look around. Many doctors use alcohol. Many doctors are chain smokers. Now, if you, as if they are saying, do as I say, but don't do as I do, because they really are health educated, community about
and
it.
they know this.
They know it. But whenever I was asking my question, the minister of that question, I really go back to the power of addiction, because they can't also, the moment they are hooked into the habit, they also can't come out. That means they also need help, as we shall see later.
Is the work itself causing them to to start use these drugs?
Sometimes, like if we talk about class A drugs, they are in the hospitals. Sometimes they have access, because we saw availability as one of the factors.
Yes, for example, you can
but
access
also the nature of work. By the way, people think health workers are not immortal. They are also human beings.
They're also human beings, indeed.
This work situation, the types of illnesses. Do you know that even seeing somebody dying is also not easy?
It's not easy.
It affects us.
Yeah, it's not
because
easy.
our work as health workers is to alleviate suffering and promote health. But you see, you are trying your level best, but somebody is going and goes.
And you're seeing in your hands.
In fact, one time when I was in Mulago, somebody asked while we were doing internship, and I go back to the hostel, and one of my colleagues asked me a question. Musa, how many have you killed? I felt like fighting this guy, and yet he brought.
You go to kill people every day.
Yes, I go to alleviate suffering and
Not to
promote.
kill.
Now, I also struggle to see somebody that should not die, but because that is his day, he goes. Now the guy jokes
And you can't
around.
do anything about it.
So that kind of process of death also tends to affect.
For example, someone standing in that surgical ward the whole
Yes.
day.
You are seeing accidents, people's legs, what
Well,
people are dying. People are dying on oxygen. You have done all what you can, but somebody is going. But
So a pethidine, a shot of pethidine
yeah, so
tries
it's
to
pethidine, what those, they have more of this. Then
What about
there
things
is
like the
the-
remunerations and stuff like that? You find when you're working, but remuneration and stuff like that. You also have the social pressures of unemployment.
People have done a lot about these remunerations.
They compound
But,
the effect, but
I don't know where you are bringing it, which context. On the side of still the other person was to be prone, or
yes, to be prone.
me, I would not think that poor remuneration makes them. Maybe it can come as a part of stressor, because if you are stressed and you are seeing, you are looking at the pay, maybe it's not really.
You are in loans.
addressing, you are in loans, you are in what, you may end up drinking.
And
like
you can access
somewhere.
pethidine.
Yeah, like some of these people tell me that when you take it, you get some relief, you feel happy, and yet you have problems. But still, I told you that this is not the solution, because when you drink or you use pethidine as a musao, because you are stressed, that pethidine has a half-life. Within 6 to 8 hours,
It will wear
wears.
off.
And
You look for another.
in fact, when you are snoring, the problem, you just keep looking at you as if said, you look at this man, you're sleeping, but I'm still there. In fact, as it wears, it's the one who said, Musao, I'm still there. Because it doesn't solve.
As you take pethidine, the employment won't go away. Unemployment, the job won't come there and there.
It won't, and even that affects your life, and with time it will affect your performance, and you end up, people have been retired on medical ground because of this, because you are no longer performing.
Or even fired. Some.
Oh, fire. Or you handle wrongly a case, because I told you big doses of these drugs work as depressants, something which makes you forget whether you drove the vehicle. Don't you think you can even forget the doses?
You can even forget where you are.
Even the diagnosis, you can fail to make a diagnosis. So I don't see like that it helps us as health workers. I've shared much with these casual laborers. I've shared with people saying there is a man who offloads trailers, cement. The guy is a Kanyama, and his work is just put the bag. They put one bag, another bag. That's 100 kilograms, because it's a 50. Can even, the guy just moves with it as if it's a device, a machine.
He's not caring what he's
and he
carrying.
climbs up the store. Then he says, wow, for me, when I take this thing, marijuana, I feel like,
I have everything
yes.
needed to carry these bags.
So, some casual laborers, and I want also to question the community, because I've shared with people who make bricks and those who do those tough work. They say these drugs help them to have energy. That energy is so risky to an extent that when you take in alcohol, it works as a catalyst. So it will first of all exhaust the food you have eaten, that carbohydrates you have put in, and it goes again facilitate conversion of fats.
Or even to break down the muscles if you have so much.
To bring that energy. Because it's not alcohol which gives us energy, it is that what we eat which gives us energy. So it is catalyzing or increasing the reaction, and indeed it affects our life, not that it gives us life, energy. Yesterday I was seeing a patient who says, for me, when I put in marijuana, that's when I can think well, and when good plans come.
That's when it becomes brave.
That's when I can be brave. Okay, brave you can be there, but you end up, you can't brave and be fight somebody.
And someone.
Yeah, when you go to court, they will say it's a case, and you go in. So it is not really that when you get people who, I went to Chego here some years ago. I found a group of scientists, 5 boys. They were saying, for us, when we put in that thing, that's when we can think by 2 a.m. we are seeing the DH.
Mathematics.
They use the word combing. They comb books. But when I told them, I asked them, you comb books, but how much do you you retain as concentration you learn? Because when you drink or when you use, because these boys were used to come to Haruba and access drugs. So it keeps them alert, but the concentration is very poor, and they can't remember anything. Yet
after he has done reading, he can't recall what he has.
He can't.
So it has an effect on the memory.
if you remember the guy over the vehicle. Now you have taken in and you forget your own vehicle, how you drove.
And
What about the one who is reading material from books?
Can you
You also
imagine?
forget. These fishmongers, they told me, Musao, are you aware? I mean, have you been in the lake? He said, no, not at all. Do you know what it means to be in the lake fishing and it rains at night? The coldness. In fact, for them, they told me when they puff marijuana, even if it's raining, they feel as if you are taking a cup of coffee.
But how should they substitute these drugs for? What should they substitute them for? In terms, if you have to get, if someone is to be brave, are you telling them it's a question of them setting their minds and say, let me go do this?
Being brave, God was great. Each of us has a way to cope with situations. Many times you have heard people committing suicide. For example, a man who committed suicide in Kamwenge here because the in-laws refused to give him back the wife. The man ended up committing suicide at the in-laws. Yet, you, the presenter, if you are a wife or you have differences with your wife and you feel your wife is no longer really helping you as the way you thought, you may say, can't I get another one?
Yes.
Now, is death a better solution? Because you die.
There are so many other solutions to that.
People have committed suicide because their fiancé or their wife or husband is going on with another person. Now, when you die, is that a solution?
So this guy who's on a lake,
mechanisms.
this guy who's on a lake should look for different coping
Yes.
mechanisms instead of going for alcohol. And they're there
Now,
saying,
presenter, do you mean this person who is telling us that when he's in the lake and he's smoking and he's feeling warm and whatever, do you think all those fishmongers are smoking? So
because
how are those who don't smoke survive?
and even does smoke chase away the hyenas
Yes.
and the buffaloes in the lake?
Not at all. And is it a positive coping mechanism to drink, to smoke when you're in the waters? First of all, it's compromising your mental processes, judgment. Yes, you may even fall into water and you can't help yourself.
And you can't help yourself.
Yes. Is it a positive coping mechanism? It's a
For example, if
negative.
you're drunk and you fall in an accident with a car, you
Yeah.
just can't jump
The
off.
sexual workers also gave me some stories. We have sexual workers, by the way, in here in town. For us, we penetrate, at times we talk to them, hey, how do you manage? This is money, you are aiming at money. Eh? Somebody gets a man, just one man exhausts her. But now 1, 2, 3, because you want money. So they also tell us that when they have that, they can really sustain.
Go all the way.
Go.
10, 15. So it gives them that courage.
That kind of courage, and they really get that strength of going on. But that is still not whatever we would do. A barmaid. It is difficult to be a barmaid and you don't take alcohol.
A soldier.
Even those who brew, you not say I will brew. Very few clients of mine says I sell but I don't drink. It is tempting.
It is tempting. You just can't keep with it all the time.
So
And
the nature of work you do also.
you watch other people becoming happy and you're just.
You have brought in the element of soldiers. In fact, these are all people who in the army, police, what. In fact, I was sharing with one of the clients when I was still in Tabika. This man tells me, man, that training of ours, much as we are trained to shoot and kill and defeat, we are also human beings. We live the war and we get effects of the war. Yes? That means they also get affected. So for them to get that, they call it Dutch, in the books of psychiatry, it's called Dutch courage.
Okay.
To get that courage to go on. Eh? So they say you are going to the front and you see the Pigama coffee there for them, they are singing and they are really.
You're on the pole of
And
something.
The mental process keep telling you you are happy, but you know whoever is going is not coming back. So they tell you, Musao, do you think it is easy?
It is.
When people are not coming back, they are dying and they also go. So they take it and they get that kind of Dutch courage.
To face
To
death without
confront
care.
whether care, death, and in that they perform, some die, some perform. That's how they were sharing.
Senior, could you please just talk about the sex predilection before you delve into the cabs and stuff?
The what?
Sex predilection, men and women, who are more prone to these
Drug abuse.
drugs and more
You
advanced.
see, by gender, drug abuse was common. Even it's right now, it's more common in men. But statistics are changing. Yes? In fact, men were drinking more than the ladies. And getting a woman staggering on the way, was not so common.
Even today, it's quite uncommon, but it is
But
common.
statistics are changing.
Women are getting
And
enrolled.
women are getting enrolled. And what we have also observed, that when a woman gets addicted, is more difficult to manage than when a man gets addicted.
A woman can heal from addiction. I mean, a man can heal from addiction easier than a woman.
I don't know, because studies we have not, but this is an observation. I rather manage 4 or 3 men with addiction
Than one man. Why?
We don't know. Because when they get addicted, and indeed, when they develop tolerance, those like there are those men who have that, maybe when we go to drink, when I make her drink, I succeed in whatever I want to do. But there are those who have really used the alcohol and they have developed high tolerance. You empty your pocket. Your aim is to make her drunk and benefit, but she will drink all your money and this is sober.
And you don't get anything.
So there is a lot desired in the studies, but this is what we are observing. Ladies have also come on board.
What's it like in terms of the effects? Does alcohol affect, because in terms of addiction, you've highlighted it, it affects women more than men. What of these other health effects on the body and stuff like that? Women, their bodies...
One has no gender. The effect of, because when it comes to complication of these drugs, they cut across physical complication, mental complication, and social. They cut across. You can't say it is more or it affects men or whatever. It cuts across. If it is to harm the organs like the liver, it hurts all, whether you're a woman or a man.
What of these juveniles? People, someone starting to take alcohol at 8, 12, 13, 15, when their brains are still developing.
That one still interferes with the normal development. It interferes with the normal development of the brain. Because you have seen young, even youth, if you have to move to even people the youth, you find somebody, a youth, he has demented in his generating ideas and plans to an extent as if he's in the early age of 60 or 80.
25-year-old being like as if he's 80 or so.
Even the rest of the way they think, because it sits on those mental processes.
Is there a safe stage at which someone can begin and they don't get these effects?
I would want to talk about that in the curve, because I will tell you what happens in the curve.
Okay.
I think that is enough. If you go now to that curve, because that a curve, I would like our listeners, our observers, to take this, because I want, by the time we finish this curve, whoever is drinking or using drugs, you know where you
should know where you fall.
Such that you say, do I need help? Or because I keep telling you that this one is okay, this one is hazardous, or this is
okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So when you look at this curve, it is a V-shaped kind of. I don't know whether you can.
U-shape or V-shape.
Yeah. When we say U, because it's a V-shape. Yeah. This is a valley.
Letter U.
Yeah. Now, this side of the curve, it is a disease process. You go through stages in the disease when you are going down into the disease. Then this other curve, half this side, is a recovery process. But at the bottom of this curve, there is death. Here.
Okay.
So some people have gone through all these stages and they end up dying. Just alcohol, primarily alcohol, especially in alcoholism. Some of them have been brought to hospitals in coma, alcoholic coma. Okay. If you don't sustain them, they may pass through that gate and they die. Yes. So this curve is important for our observers to know that you want, because I want each of us to know where we are if we are using these drugs. So the first stage here, they call it experimentation. This is where curiosity is. Curiosity.
You test where you have gone for party, you've gone somewhere.
You see somebody smoking and he's posing, you feel like, yeah,
I should test this.
You see people wasting money, in fact they buy. So what is this substance?
You also have some 10K and you want to.
So let me try. Yes? So it is curiosity and it is that first experiment. Indeed, when you go for the first time, you take it either because of curiosity or peer group because you'll be persuaded. Now when you
want to fit.
Yes, you want to fit in. By the way, that was also called the other side. People are saying they want boredom, fitting in society, they also call it. The fact is that in that experimentation stage, which we think it is curiosity, the fact we have observed that the effect you get on first contact determines continuity.
Whether you proceed or you don't proceed.
Because I told you, I don't drink. I used it through persuasion. Busoga, we have these clusters of families. Yes. Christmas time, we are at his place, So I go to Uncle's place and they were doing it. And Uncle kept persuading me. So, still, curiosity, I took something and they tricked us. They had this pipetting one, the ajum, the pipette. But also they had the Waganda Waraji and the soda. Okay. So they were punching. And Uncle could say, you try.
We also punching?
We punched tea with soda. Now, as I start, you see, alcohol is a simple sugar. Very fast when it reaches the stomach, it enters the villi. Very fast you feel. Within 5 to 6 minutes, it is already here. You'll feel it. So I started feeling somehow fun. I started by seeing the plants and the moving, they are going. For me, I'm a station. But as I added, we started going
together.
Then
with the trees.
I started feeling as if I'm losing control on the chair.
Okay.
So technically, I started now holding the chair. But because as you keep adding, your body is not used, I started feeling dizzy.
Yes.
Funny. And I
Blurry vision.
Let me go and sleep. And in my mind, I thought, when I go to bed, I'm going to be more comfortable. Let me go and sleep. The bed was going to be worse than the chair because we were read as if it was going to turn over. So I had to, and I became an amusement with the family members.
You held on to
what
the bed.
helped me was vomiting. That business ended up into pouring. I vomited. Then I got a bit of relief. So for me, I healed. My cow stopped at here.
At experimentation.
Yes, at experimentation.
Okay.
Because the patient said, all those who drink go through this. So what I want the community to know, or our viewers, is that the moment you take it on first contact, the effect you get determines where you are going to continue or not. So for me, my curve stopped there. I healed from experimentation.
You never felt the
so I realized that if I'm going on, is this what I'm going to be having? So I healed good. So when you leave experimentation stage, the second stage is what we call social use stage. Hati omutoro hano mwanza nkenge kuruni, because these people have really amused me in the clinic. Each patient I get, even if they bring them in on rocks, when they come from the other mental confusion after giving them drugs, when they get back to their mental states and now they can reason, they always say, "Nywa katoito." Buli mutoro anywa katoito, little. Now,
they can never say take a lot.
A lot. No, that one is not there. In fact, they have a defense on that. Remember, he said, no, so I want all the viewers who are listening to, seeing us, to know that this social use, it has a capacity you have to take, such that you are still safe. Yes? Now, if we are taking, because for us we take this curve in terms of the quantity of alcohol that you are taking in. If you want to understand this better, look at the brands we have been using. Others are stronger. If you can't compare Chairman with Bell or Spirits or Uganda Waraji with. So what is important for you to know is which brand are you using. The formula is, if you take 14, a woman, a lady, you take 14 milligrams, or depending on which brand you are using, per a seat, 14 milligrams, you will be leaving this social use stage. A social user, a woman, is supposed to take 14 milligrams down. If in easy calculation, take 2 bottles of Bell
a day,
per seat or a day. Don't go beyond. And mind you, I told you, when you look at this brews, for them, if you take 2, if like Uganda Waraji, that's too much.
2 is for very few.
That is, and this, when you look at this drug, like alcohol, the brands we have, they come in these half liters, half liter of Bell, half liter of whatever, German, what else. They are like that. But what I want to communicate over those who are seeing us to understand, that to remain a social user, one, you must have limitation on your take.
You must
don't exceed 2 bottles.
You must know which amount, do I exceed and get knocked out.
Which not that one.
Or which brand.
Which brand are you using and what is its concentration?
What is concentration?
Because if I say 2 units, it will be like a liter. Those are 2 half liters. But now, if you are taking Uganda Water, don't you think you are far away in concentration?
Yes.
That one must be put into consideration.
So the brand you're using has to be...
Yes, you have first of all to know the concentration and how many bottles are in the safe use, which you say, I'm a social user. That's the one we call a social user.
Okay.
And 2, in the social user, you must be the one governing the drinking habit. Today I'm busy, I'm not going there.
Okay.
Today I don't have money.
I will not go.
He has given me free of charge, but still I feel I have a lot to do.
Or I have not had lunch,
Yes,
or not.
so yes, you're the one governing it. That is what we call a social user. And those who say katoito, I want you to take that serious. I've been seeing clients who come with, there is what we call alcoholic body physique. You don't ask them, do you drink? You just look at them and you see a drunkard. I don't know whether they're getting what I'm saying.
Yes.
We call it alcoholic body what? Physique. Fine. A normal person, you're not supposed to have a round face like a pussycat.
Yes.
You are not.
That's a shiny skin.
You leave the shiny, but even the roundish of a pussycat with squatting ticks, that is not normal face. So these people tend to have a perfect face, roundish with squatting, times red lips, yes, and shiny skin. That you may admire them.
You may admire the skin.
Which oil the alcohol is eating up all the food nutrients.
Okay.
Yes. So you will see that one with some emaciation, the body, mild
Central
dehydration,
best.
and then there is what we call alcoholic belly, not money belly. I don't know they are getting a difference.
I get you.
A money belly, you are fat. Compete with space, the whole body.
The whole body.
But why should you have a sitting belly when the other places are not sitting?
When the legs are like nails.
So you'll see the stomach, it is kabuto-buto, but the man is emaciating.
Okay.
It is not kwashako, it's not money belly, but it's alcoholic belly. Then as you go down, you'll find some kind of features of edema.
Bilateral.
By the time you see these edemas, where you push it and you feel the hole is there, you know that already the organs are getting diseased. Alcohol is already eating up the kidneys and whatever. And that's how
that comes in when someone is still a social use.
No,
continually
no. In social use, those things are not there. That's why I'm saying, if you are to be safe, remain a social user. I hope you are
don't exceed
2. In male, 3 bottles. And still it's the concentration which matters. They talk of 21 units. Milligrams. Those are, if assuming that concentration you are taking is 7 milligrams in a half liter. So you have 3 bottles, that's already for 21.
Yeah, 21 milligrams. And
so a man, if you go beyond that, if what you are taking, the concentration is around 7, then you know you are taking 21 units in 3 bottles.
And you should
that's the safe part of a man. Clear? That's the safe part. You go beyond that, you go to the other third stage, which is because it has hazardous use.
The concentration should be per day, per week, per what?
This is per sit. If you sit and you take 3 bottles, your the alcohol concentration is already at that level of 21. A man.
If someone sits 3
so you sit. Now here the challenge is: should I go? HYD 3 times or 4 times.
That's why I'm asking about the time.
Yeah.
Because someone may sit 2 times a day.
What science tells us, if you per seat, you go beyond that, it harms the body.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you take like some hours, you may find the body is breaking. Because we say the alcohol takes 6 to 8 hours to be broken. Yeah. So by the 8 hours, maybe you are at a low level. You may be safe to add. Yeah? Because when they are defining when the definition they give us for this social user, this is somebody who takes alcohol, can even take it regularly, but in small quantities, such that it doesn't affect his body. It's not hazardous.
Okay.
So you may take hours, maybe let me take it in the morning, maybe after 24 hours it is gone, then I add, maybe you may be safe, because it is the concentration in the body is the one which is mattering now here.
So exceeding there, you are off the social level.
The moment you exceed, if you're a woman, you exceed 2 bottles, a man, you exceed 3 bottles, you're entering a hazardous use. And the hazardous use is a stage which means that if you continue at that speed, with the time you are going to knock. Are you getting it?
Yes.
If you continue using those 4 bottles
At that
rate,
Mm.
for with the time, it will affect you and you will get problems. To a certain extent, hazardous use is now you are entering the bad part of the use.
I think that also borders on abuse.
Yes.
That's
In
the
fact,
real drug
In
abuse.
fact, the abuse starts from here. Whenever you can't, because when you
hazardous use.
when hazardous use, you start alcohol starts making changes in you.
Yes.
So that means it's starting to affect you.
You will knock one time when you're
So
drunk.
abuse starts from here. You are no longer a social user. It is only this part, this experimentation, and
Social.
which is safe. The moment you enter hazardous, and they tell you, "Nah, you are the new yesterday. You better stop or control." You
And you
continue.
continue.
With the time, you are going to knock. Clear?
Yes.
Then after this hazardous use, what follows here is intoxication. Now, these stages of intoxication, there is a way they come and confuse the community. But what we call intoxication is to behave odd under influence. Yes? You behave or exhibit behaviors which are not accepted. You become a nuisance when you are under influence. When it wears off, you're okay.
That can result, I think, from taking a very strong brand or high concentration.
Now, intoxication means you have taken in more than necessary. So the alcohol, the drug becomes toxic and affects the brain and other parts, and you behave odd. Have you ever seen people urinating?
You urinate on yourself. Even you
can defecate, or you address, you fight even the people, colleagues who have bought you alcohol.
you abuse everyone.
Abuse. That is, and you're under influence.
Or
That's
you
what we
knock
call-
while driving.
Yeah. And majority of these docking, when people are under influence, they become they occur because of
But senior some even run unconscious, fall
Yeah.
down completely, and someone
Yes.
can't talk.
These people we bring here, they come when because and it all here it is funny. Somebody was telling me ekitawani kyananka na kirabaho hari muhanda amara ga kisisa. They don't know that it's a serious disease. Kusisa. Kusisa is spoiling.
This is a disease. Someone is nearing death.
Somebody, by the time you sleep by the road, you don't know what is happening. You are not even aware of your being unsafe. Eh? That means you are near death.
That's not kusisikara.
That is not sickness. It is real. It is sickness. And that person is very sick, worse than even somebody with malaria.
Yeah.
That's why they rush them. An observation I've made. I've admitted many of that nature in intoxication. They come in a stage of alcoholic coma. Intoxication, but in coma. So we put on them, line on them, we put them 50%. Within like 1 hour, the man is already back. Senses. They will leave some of mine. You just gave them a lot of glucose. Within an hour, 2 hours, the man wakes up and sees the lights, realizes he's not at home. I have never discharged a patient with alcoholic coma.
They just
By the
discharge.
morning I come, I find the man has taken off.
So they run away.
Yes, and this is something people they see.
It's out of shame.
No, it even shame is there, but also when you come back to your senses, you realize you're in the hospital.
How did I come here?
They discharge themselves and you're feeling okay. Only to remember how you went to drink, but you don't know how you reached here. Don't you think there is embarrassment, shame, and everything? Yeah? And to make it clear is that alcohol can kill you, as we said, the curve that is death.
Yes.
So you can die at any stage.
Even during intoxication, can someone
Now, what surprises you in intoxication stage, when you are under influence, because we said alcohol takes 6 to 8 hours to wear, but when you are under influence, there is a way you behave, which is shameful.
and risky?
Now, I have a brother-in-law whom they brought in a wheelbarrow after drinking and has even soiled himself. They brought him home. Now this man wakes up. The wife had told him to move to the gym. He was, and he left him in the sitting room. He was only realizing he has not what? He has no trouser. He's in the cement. Yes. So he was in intoxication. Now that the alcohol had weared off, he's coming back to his senses. Now the wife tells him, "Can you imagine that shame?" He said, "I don't talk." Because the children were also there. But the children had seen him under intoxication when the mother was struggling with him. So in intoxication, you will see when it wears off, you don't even want somebody to talk about it because it's shaming. So people have defecated. What? Then the other people who are concerned, they tell them, "You know what happened yesterday at the party.
It was
He
horrible.
ashamed. It was horrible. The guy said, "What are you saying? Me? A whole me to do that?"
Me?
Because it has weared off. Now you have come from the intoxication. Now you're okay. Many people are going to work, and these are many people of us. You get intoxicated, you come to work even Basawas.
Yes.
Yes?
I've seen
Because it
some.
wears off, tomorrow you go for duty. A teacher get intoxicated, urinate, whatever, the following day again, go back to. So this is the period. But with it, it is characterized with too much taking in of a substance that it poisons the organs. And you're going through that.
And you
When it
run
wears off,
your-
you are back to senses. And this one makes people not know that they are sick.
But Senior,
Yes.
before you leave the intoxication stage, is that intoxication, how different is it across different drugs? Do these different drugs bring different types of intoxication?
Remember,
or-
I told you about my Ronji. I said it's like a tonto with.
Eh.
So some drugs you take in a lot, you get intoxicated. But some drugs you take in something small, you're already there. I told you about heroin.
Cannabis.
I told you about heroin.
You just-
the brown sugar.
You
You
just
that
sniff
one they call it kill me quick. You
Kill
just
me quick, yes.
it's I mean inhale slight and inhale you fall apart.
Are the effects the same? Because you may see someone cantankerous, fighting here, and
The moment you are intoxicated, the behavior is quite the same.
is equally the
The
same.
moment you are intoxicated. Because it just, I told you that all of us, we have, it's like these drugs we take. We have different responses to this alcohol.
Yes.
In fact, I was going to the stage here of tolerance. Maybe we shall understand here to appreciate it with intoxication. The tolerance stage here, these are people who tolerate big doses, but they remain as if they have not taken anything.
That's
And
after
these
the
are
body-
many in the community.
After the body has gotten used to the
Yes.
drug.
With time, as you keep taking these drugs, it will get used to it. And you have to take much to get the effect you used to get on a smaller dose. Yes? Have you been seeing people who are competing for crates? In fact, the man empties all the crates, but he's not staggering. The guy is smart.
Someone even gets a lot
And
to
these
drink.
are many. And these ones, again, have confused the community.
Yes.
You're a younger man. You started recently drinking.
Now
You have
you are.
been drinking all those years. Has alcohol affected me? Abo basawo mu baveeko, they are deceiving. We respond to these drugs differently. And when somebody has tolerated alcohol, he can even drink as if he's not even putting it in the body. And the guy moves without.
But aren't there possibilities that these guys who have become tolerant, the drugs are affecting their body? In
Yes,
they're
they
not
do
aware?
affect the body,
And
but the CNS, the central nervous, the brain, and how they reason, whatever, and even the motor activity of walking, they don't stagger. Who are you? You stagger, and again, but inside it is affecting the organs.
It just comes to them later, after years have gone.
Yes, as they continue drinking, you see somebody getting some physical features of the effect of
The
drugs.
perfect face and the face.
What emaciating. You
Even
see alcohol,
breasts.
which is, yes, with the time, this alcohol will chase away the appetite.
For
For
food,
you, they want to give you food. For you, your mind is alcohol.
that food you're referring to both foods, the food and the food that sustains the family and the other food.
I don't know whether time will allow us, but some of these things we need to hit them as we go on. When we say food, it is physical food, but also the other food as a man, alcohol causes
Issues
a
there.
complicated kind of physical complication called erectile dysfunction.
Oh, yeah.
People completely fail to perform.
And these tolerant guys don't tell it to us.
They don't.
They will shy away from saying this.
And by the way, some of these issues of bed and whatever, these are not things people just. People are there burning. They have these issues. Yes. Maybe at the end of this, these are, as we are going through this, I wanted the people to keep identifying themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Because you may be having such a problem, but you are quiet in the community.
And you are ignoring the cause.
For you think it is something which is going tomorrow, and yet you are still thinking. It will go down until you completely go out of the game.
Okay.
From tolerance, there is a dependence stage before we go to addiction here and death. Now, in dependence means you can't do away without.
Before you come for work, you have to pass there and
go to Nalongo, stabilize the nerves, then
come for work.
then come for work. So many people are there in the community. I remember we had a teacher, even we had a surgeon around here. Not go into a theater and start operation without putting in pethidine. Yes? So that means your body can't do away without. You can't do anything minus taking in. In fact, to observe some of these people who are dependent, we look at the way people are drinking. Some people, very early in the morning, for me, as I'm looking for tea, for them, they are already going now. Yeah, as lunch as I want to eat, they also go to, they keep adding as if it is a gauge of a vehicle. Yeah, because of the moment the fuel starts going down, the vehicle will tell you, add some. So
are these the ones that get withdrawal symptoms when they don't take?
At dependence here, they get withdrawal and addiction. Those stages you get.
When you go for hours or days of taking,
what forces them even to go and add the withdrawal? Because if they don't, they shake. Can't handle.
They shake, they sweat.
The teacher can't even handle a pain. So of choke is of choke. So he has to stabilize now. Then that's when he will be able to write. So at that stage of dependence, and dependence is big. It can be physical dependence or psychological dependence. Physical dependence, you have been hearing people who say, like the other man of the cement. If he doesn't put in, he doesn't.
You can't carry those. That's physical.
And this is what the people tell us. If I don't, when I don't take this, I don't sleep. That is mental dependence. Mental. That is the thinking. If I don't do this, I can't perform as a man. But people are raping when they are not under influence. So, that psychological dependence, saying if I don't drink, I can't now maybe talk to media. There is that thing.
Yes.
Even like if I'm not drunk, or if I've not taking in such, I can't talk to a woman because you are shy. So, those things are there.
They are there.
But they are psychological.
They are psychological.
That's the mentality. Because do you think all those people who are sleeping, they need to drink? Sleep is a natural phenomenon. It takes us.
It takes us on its
It's there. Yes. You don't need to drink to sleep. Yes. Then there are those who get now those things through. Those are the physical dependencies. Somebody, in fact, it starts as if you have flu. Running nose with eyes also running. Look for flu.
Things all over the place.
Hangovers. Unfortunately, these people with the hangovers, when they want to treat it again, they add. Is that treatment?
What is it?
No, you're already having side effects or bad effects of the drug.
And you're adding.
Now you want to treat the hangovers, again you go and add in. Are you treating yourself? That's how the physiology behind the drinking deceives human being. Because the moment they take in, they stabilize that they can now write. So they think it's a treatment. It is a worsening the whole situation.
So one who has withdrawal symptoms and the hangover should not.
Those ones, they are supposed to be helped in hospitals. By the way, when you stop that person from dependence to addiction, you just encourage somebody to stop. That's when we go wrong. Somebody, because the body is used to these things, and indeed the person will go into crisis. For us who are health workers, we observe this one, but only that at times we don't take things serious. They bring a patient with malaria. You admit a patient with malaria. Your mind will be only on the malaria. But you are not forgetting, you are forgetting the physical outlook, which is called the physical body physics. You are seeing somebody is a drunkard, but are now concentrating on malaria. Yes? Some patients in general words have helped us. They tell the attendant, so this man or the attendant will bring alcohol in the ward. Who are you who is forgetting your mental health, which you learn?
You
are concentrating on malaria. Day 1, day 2, day 3, you know you are going to discharge the patient.
But they continue their treatments.
So you will see day 1, flu comes, with somebody shakes, as if they have fever, and yet they have no temperature. So when you think it is the same, you continue with the malaria. Day 2, you give the second dose. The tremors increase. Who are you think still? But you would have expected the tremors to reduce, or the shivering, the rigors to go as you go on. Day 3, as you are planning to complete your yes, to discharge, you just get what we call a acute confusional state. In this very patient you are about to by the way, this is where we look as if we health workers, we don't know. You get as if you have never been.
Yeah, you get really cold.
This patient can disorganize a ward. Even those on IV line, on oxygen, within no time he has helped you to disorganize. So this maybe go to fellow health workers. The holistic approach to managing patients. Let us be always
It
when you see
matters.
malaria, but you see alcohol, you say, it is malaria and alcohol. Combine the management strategy because delirium tremens is a psychiatric emergency. It really disorganizes. Yeah.
Okay. You were on dependence.
Dependency. I want us to go to the addiction, which
Yes.
is a real disease.
Yes, the addiction.
Now addiction is full of craving. Craving.
Thirsty.
Well, I've been challenged several times in my unit.
By the people.
My client, suppose I get many of them. The man asked me a simple question. Kokamsawe, you are telling me to stop alcohol. Now me who has not drunk to that level, I know
You stopped that exposure.
Now on stage ngambira limanyire lya mayisi. Nganyira iroho tindimanyire. Then as I was there trying to understand his meaning, he added another chitoro word. Iroho likuhambia. Kuhambia, I came to realize it's chasing. Likuhambia,
Forcing you to go and look for
forcing
something.
you, compelling you until you drink, then you stabilize. That's when I said, that thing is so terrible like that. Iroho likuhambia musao omara kufeka mnonywa notekana. So, for us who don't drink, we don't understand it. But it is a compelling force within a person which doesn't allow him to. Because without drinking, he can't survive. That is what we call addiction. So it's the one which fuels craving. In fact, those patients, because for them, the community doesn't know that they are patient. But by the time you reach that, you are really very sick.
You are a patient.
Yeah, you are addicted. And for dependence and addiction, never entice somebody. Leave this drinking. Encourage them to seek help in a hospital because their drugs we give them to take them through. We call it detoxification. As the body is getting rid of these drugs, the body getting used, there is a drug we give which doesn't allow this part of, it's such a allow by patient to go into real crisis of DT. So don't just encourage, let them come to hospital. Maybe
but senior, apart from that, how else can someone know that I'm an addict? Apart from the craving.
Yeah, but I've tried to explain those levels. I thought if somebody is listening, we'll even be knowing. Because
My name is Imboga Elvis Kateva, and I'll be presiding over this debate.
Will you, as in, you are